Imagine waking up in total darkness, 30 degrees below zero, inside a tent that has become a trap. Something or someone is outside. You don't grab your boots. You don't grab your coat. You slice through the canvas and run into the blackness of a Siberian blizzard. Why did 9 of the most experienced hikers in the Soviet Union choose certain death in the snow over whatever was inside that tent? To understand the end, we have to go back to the beginning. January 1959. Igor Dyatlov and his team of 8 men and 2 women set out for the Ural Mountains. They were young, strong, and deeply experienced. Their diaries show a group in high spirits, documented by a series of black and white photos that would become the final records of their lives.
The destination was Otorten Mountain, but the local Mansi tribes had another name for it, the Mountain of the Dead. As the weather turned, the group was forced to make camp on the desolate slope of Kholat-Syakhl. It was a tactical error that put them directly in the path of the unknown. They pitched their tent, ate a final meal, and settled in for the night.
When the group failed to report back, a search party was sent. What they found defied logic. The tent was still there, half buried in snow, but it was empty. It had been slashed open from the inside. All their gear, their boots, their heavy coats, their knives, was still sitting there. 9 sets of footprints led away, some barefoot, some in a single sock, walking calmly toward the woods. The first 2 bodies were found nearly a mile away, huddled under a massive cedar tree. They were dressed only in their underwear, their hands charred from a fire they had desperately tried to keep lit. Above them, branches were broken 5 meters up, as if they were frantically climbing to see something or hide from something that was stalking them from the ground. 3 more bodies, including Dyatlov himself, were found between the tree and the tent. They died in poses that suggested they were trying to crawl back to safety. But the real horror was hidden. It would take another 2 months, as the spring thaw began, to find the remaining 4 hikers buried deep in a ravine under 4 meters of snow. The autopsies revealed a nightmare. While the first 5 died of hypothermia, the final 4 had injuries that were physically impossible. 1 had a fractured skull. 2 had massive chest fractures. The force required to cause such damage was compared to a high-speed car crash. Yet there were no external bruises. It was as if they had been crushed by a sudden, invisible wall of pressure. And then there was the missing evidence. One of the women, Ludmila Dubinina, was found missing her tongue and eyes. Her heart had suffered massive trauma. Even more bizarre, their clothing. tests conducted by Soviet authorities revealed high levels of radioactive contamination on the garments of the victims. Why would a group of hikers be carrying radiation into the wilderness? The Soviet government abruptly closed the case, listing the cause of death as a compelling natural force. But the public wasn't convinced. Other hikers in the area reported seeing strange glowing orbs in the sky that night. Rumors swirled of secret missile tests or parachute mines being deployed by the military in the restricted Ural zones.
Was it a secret weapon gone wrong? Or did they stumble upon something they weren't meant to see? Some point to the Menk, a local legend of a Siberian Yeti. Others suggest a slab avalanche, a rare event where a block of snow slides onto the tent. But an avalanche doesn't explain why they walked a mile away, or why their clothes were radioactive.
The most terrifying theory, however, involves the mountain itself. Scientists have discovered that the unique shape of Kolatsiak can create a phenomenon called infrasound. When the wind rips over the ridge, it creates a sound frequency below the range of human hearing, but it triggers a primal, uncontrollable sense of dread and panic in the human brain.
Infrasound can cause hallucinations, nausea, and an overwhelming need to flee. If the frequency of fear hit the tent that night, it explains the madness. It explains why they slashed their way out and ran into the blizzard without a second thought. They weren't running from a monster. They were running from the sound of their own minds breaking. Her disappearance changed how we view the sky. It taught us that even our greatest heroes are vulnerable to the elements. The search for her plane has driven innovations in sonar and deep-sea exploration that serve us today. Even in her absence, Amelia Earhart is still leading the way into the unknown.
What really happened on the slope of Kolatsakyo? Was it a freak of nature, a military accident, or something we simply aren't equipped to understand? The Dyatlov Pass continues to pull us in, a cold reminder that there are places on this earth where the laws of logic seem to freeze and shatter alongside the people who dare to visit.
The 9 hikers of the Dyatlov expedition didn't just leave behind mystery, they left a warning. The wild is indifferent to our expertise. It doesn't care for our strength. In the end, we are all just fragile visitors in a world that can turn on us in a heartbeat. The mountain of the dead still stands, and its secrets are buried deep beneath the ice.
9 lives, 1 night, and a mystery that has outlasted empires. If you enjoyed this dive into history's darkest archives, subscribe to Chronos Cracked. We uncover the stories the world tried to forget. Until next time, keep looking into the shadows. You never know what might be looking back.